President Trump expected to announce tonight that major tech companies are stepping up to cover the soaring electricity costs tied to America's AI boom.
A White House official telling Fox that a growing number of tech firms have already signed a pledge agreeing to pony up for the power plants and infrastructure needed to support massive new data centers, ensuring everyday Americans don't get stuck footing the bill.
Joining us now, former EPA Chief of Staff during Trump's first term, Mandy Gunasekara. Mandy, nice to see you tonight. Okay, I got to tell you, tell me if I'm wrong here. I'm a big fan of this because you basically have private companies making huge investments with big power needs, and they're saying we're going to internalize the cost of that and pay for the power we need ourselves, maybe even sell some of the extra back into the communities that we're located in. Is that what they're saying, and is that a good move?
Yeah, I think it's a great move, Brian. And I think it shows the impressive level of detail the president is willing to go to ensure that his promises on making life more affordable again actually come true. He understands that energy is a literal undercurrent when it comes to cost, but he also understands why the United States of America needs to be the AI capital of the world for competition reasons, commerce, but also for national security. So it's imperative that we build this out, but build it out responsibly. So like you said, the costs are not borne on the everyday American people. And let's just remember why we are in this position where there is a crunch on energy development and use. This goes back to the Biden administration going all in on the Green New scam, where they shut down necessary energy resources and tried to replace them with wind and solar, making prices skyrocket. So President Trump is doing an amazing job going in on some of these very real details, trying to balance goals, broad goals, but not letting the American people, the consumers that were really harmed during the Biden administration, bear the costs. And this is a very smart approach, bringing in the key players that are committed to this, not just at the White House, but at the various agencies too.
Mandy, help us understand what the messaging around this should be, because if I understand this correctly, President Trump is securing a deal that will prevent Americans from bearing the brunt of a cost moving forward. So it's not one that they've already sustained or experienced, right? So it's a little bit different. It's not a cost cut. It's I'm going to prevent you from taking on a cost into your pocketbook. And that could be really significant. So help us understand what kind of cost he's going to save the American from experiencing and how he should make sure that everyone understands that.
Yeah, I think President Trump, he's the best person when it comes to getting the American people on board with his good ideas. When it comes to this is an investment into the future, but it doesn't have to be an investment that is going to come with massive costs or bankrupt future generations like we've seen coming from the Democrat Party. Costs have been going up on the energy side. President Trump has totally changed that dynamic with his energy dominance agenda. Gas prices have gone down and electricity prices are trending in the right direction so long as there's states willing to get on board with this. This is about the future, though, investing in a future where you don't have to bankrupt future generations or make it impossible for working families to be able to afford everyday costs. They can live and experience the benefits of the modern lifestyle without having to forfeit basic goods and access to affordable, reliable energy. That is what the president is so good at on the messaging front, but more importantly, that's what his policies have prioritized and embraced.
You know, one of the biggest things in this first year of his second term, Mandy, I think is the deregulation, particularly around the ending of the endangerment finding, okay, which has just been, in my view, an albatross around the neck of the economy. That's gone. I hope he talks about that tonight and explains to people what a big deal that is. What do you want to hear on that front?
Yeah, I want to hear about the reign of eco-terrorism is over. President Trump has really done away with this legal document. It gets a little technical, a little wonky, but it's a legal document that enabled bureaucrats to run rampant across the entire U.S. economy, making decisions that people in the field should be making, whether it's our energy developers, our industrial manufacturers, or whether it's the everyday consumer picking what types of appliances they want in their homes homes or what types of cars they want to drive. This is a huge benefit. It will save $1.3 trillion regulatory costs. And for the American people, this is money that can go back into communities, into businesses, instead of funding an already bloated bureaucracy. President Trump is fantastic in talking about draining the swamp and what that means for the everyday American, and talking about and leaning in on the absurdity of the endangerment finding, how that added all sorts of unforeseen costs on the American people, how he's doing away with that. So not only will costs go down, but the economy can embrace his reindustrialization initiatives, bringing new jobs and opportunities to Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, places like the Rust Belt that will be rusty no more.
Mandy, the estimate that I'm seeing is that this one change in a regulatory rollback could save the average American as much as $2,400 on a new car.
That's affordability.
SUV.
That's what I'm talking
huge.
about.
Mandy Gunasekara, we got to leave it there, but thank you very much
Thank you,
for
Mandy.
joining
Good
us.
to